My name is Matt, but you can call me Absol. 12 years ago, I dreamed of Pokemon battles in 3D and made a whole movie about my first time playing through Pokemon X. Now it's 2025 and we're finally going back to the Kalos region in Legend ZA.
Z, okay!
And I wanted to prepare myself by revisiting Pokemon X. But of course, I couldn't play the game normally. I wanted to do something bold, so I decided I would take on a Professor Oak challenge of the game. And that just means I have to obtain every Pokemon I possibly can before every badge without trading or glitching. Normally these challenges take me several months to complete, but I set a deadline for myself this time, knowing that I would need to finish this before October 16th, the day that ZA releases. So this became a race against time. I still went on plenty of adventures though. So let's drop into the Kalos region, name ourselves Prof, which is short for Profit Margin since I'm doing YouTube full-time now. That's kind of crazy. And let's see what all Pokemon X in the Kalos region have to offer. "128 days until October 16th in Legend ZA. Let's visit the world of Pokemon and see if we can finish this before then." And the way our journey begins is that a bird flies into our house and tackles us directly. This would be a terrifying way to wake up on any day, not just, the first day of the big adventure that I'm setting out on. I would be so shook, anxiety levels at an all-time high. I imagine this is how our character's feeling internally at the moment. Meanwhile, I was making sure I didn't leave the Rotom heat on, and turned off the game after getting a cool trainer ID because I was packing for a real-life adventure the next day.
Where will our adventure take us? I'm not adding washer fluid. This thing is...
Welcome to Louisiana.
Oh, cool, we're in Louisiana. Thanks so much, car. Yay!
Thank you,
getting some washer fluid.
I thought it wasn't getting washer fluid.
It's not.
Mother, I hardly know her.
We arrived in New Orleans, one of the most Kalosian cities in the US, and gathered over dinner to talk about the hippest, newest Nintendo console, the Wii U.
On my way down the craziest Route 1 in all of Pokemon right now.
And of course, here I needed to make a very important decision, as you do at the start of every Pokemon game. Which Pokemon am I going to choose as my starter? All three Kalos starters evolve at the same levels, so really there's no advantage in the Oak Challenge in picking one over the other, so I let my friends decide for me.
I'm gonna say... I'm a gay Chespin.
You gotta get Greninja, of course. That's like the coolest Pokemon ever.
Why?
Then again...
That's... Y'all all chose different starters.
That means you asked the host or hostess.
And when I asked, our wonderful waiter picked Fennekin for me, so I had to name it Serve. After a nice dinner, tapping Pokewalkers, and learning about the hottest new shiny hunting event, Restaurant Week, it was time to go down Route 2 to catch a lot of early game Pokemon. As I wandered through this lounge, feeling as out of place as the Fletchling that was in my house at the beginning of the game, I caught a Fletchling while I was looking for a bottle of water. And then while watching Kotatsu replay Deltarune, I nabbed several Zigzagoon with the pickup ability, a Scatterbug, which I named Butt Juice,
I only have one butt juice left. I'm literally so cooked.
and a Weedle.
I'm not a good gamer. I'll admit it.
You know who is, though? This Weedle.
Before the night ended, we had to ask Johnstone what he thought a beignet was, since he thought Malasadas had beef in them last year.
What's a beignet, John?
No, and I feel dumb because everybody's been like, oh, we're gonna get beignets. I'm like, oh, I'm so down. You know what a beignet is? It sounds like a nice pastry. You look so scared right now. But it's like a pastry. It's almost like fried dough, and there's no beef in it. That's clear. I've learned this before. There's no beef. There can't be.
Oh, bye.
Who even was that?
Then while winding down, I caught a Bunnelby overlooking the city, a Pidgey while watching the Diamond and Pearl anime, and entering a new area, Santaloon Forest, I got a Caterpie before passing out, and getting a good night's rest. Because we weren't just in New Orleans for no reason.
Pokemon North America International Championships. No way.
We had been invited to the North American International Championships by Pokemon, and got to attend a special creator preview of the Pokemon Center pop-up there.
Pokemon. I like Pokemon. Subscribe if you like Pokemon.
Screamtail.
Here I saw my starter, Fennekin, but that's not the one that I bought. I bought the Lava Dome Pokemon in Lumio City.
Hi, I'm Heatran.
Meanwhile, someone was devastated that there was no Simipour.
I'm gonna start tweaking out in this venue right now. Where is my boy Simipour? They have the other two. This is not fair.
But thankfully, its pre-evolved form is the next thing I can catch.
They had Simisear. They had Simisage, but no Simipour. They had Panpour. They had Panpour. But they didn't have Simipour.
Then, over some pizza, I caught Pansage's most recent appearance in the wild in a Pokemon game, which is insane because it's been 12 years. Then we found this really cool setup advertising ZA with a real-life Prism Tower and AZ and this crazy map of Lumio City. Of course, I had to finish out the trio by catching Pansear here. I love the tourist photo action we got going on in the background here. This was the point where things started to feel real, like ZA was actually happening. And maybe Chanel the Wobbuffet would be able to steal from more taxi drivers in that game. Please watch that video. There was one final Pokemon to catch in Santaloon Forest before moving on, the very mascot of Pokemon itself, Pikachu, which has appeared in the wild pretty frequently since 2013, I'd say. Then it was time to move on to Route 3, with all my friends abandoning me. In-game, at least. We were actually meeting up with more friends in real life. Taking another little anime break before dinner, I caught an Azurill and a one-segment Dunsparce.
That's it! That's it!
And then I decided it was time for me to do an important minigame we have to do at this point in the game. Super Training. We need a lot of evolutionary stones before the first badge, and this soccer minigame is the only way we can get them. And you can only get them after fully maxing out a Pokemon's EVs in this mode and unlocking the secret Super Training. Then during the secret matches, you have a chance of getting an evolutionary stone as a prize. Over some German food, I got pretty lucky and got each of the elemental stones that I needed for Pansage, Pansear, and Panpour.
Who's ready to evolve into Simipour?
If only they had Simipour at NAIC.
Right?
2025.
Yeah.
There he is. He's real.
And evolved them right outside Café du Monde as we were picking up beignets for dessert.
Oh, break it down. Oh, you're not breaking it down anymore?
Then I took a little break from the challenge to shiny hunt and open cars with friends for the rest of the night.
Green one's in a fire.
Simipour!
Simipour is.
She's real! At NAIC! For real!
Thank God.
That's where you went, guys. In the back.
NAIC Day 2, we got the Vileplume window. It's a beautiful sunshiny day outside. I beat the rain and made it to Route 22, the last route we can access before Viola, where over breakfast with Papa C and Legend Link, I caught a Litleo. This was the day the competition started and the main hall of the venue actually opened, so there were a lot more people walking around and more places to explore.
So I got his Thunderstone, and we're gonna evolve Demo the Pikachu. That's a Raichu! I wonder what happens if I put a Thunderstone up to that one. All the fairy types are so disappointed, no rough play.
I'm here on the scene.
After doing a little bit more exploring of the main hall, I caught a Psyduck, and then a Riolu that I aspire to make as comfortable as the one Ionic Bond showed me on his phone, since it's a friendship evolution. Then I wrapped up the rest of the captures for this section with Bidoof, Farfetch'd, and 2 Burmy, 1 male, 1 female. Now we have some training to do, and I don't mean the super kind. We won't have access to the experience share until we get our first badge, meaning that instead of letting all of our Pokemon in our party gain experience at the same time, we're gonna have to train them the old-fashioned way, individually. But there are some boosts we can still take advantage of here. By playing with our Pokemon in Pokemon Ami mode, and having them reach 2 hearts, we gain a slight EXP boost. And with Pokemon that evolve twice, like Fennekin, if we intentionally don't evolve it, we get another experience boost. Of course, all Pokemon with level up evolutions can take advantage of this, but it's only really useful for the 3-stage evolutions in this challenge. And oh yeah, I started training Fennekin at this really crazy Mario Kart concert by the band Cloud Save, where they were playing along to actual people racing, and it was like one of the coolest evenings ever. Here's Coconut Mall. The best place to train is Route 22 because of the wild Farfetch'd and Dunsparce. I played until I got the flashing red battery light of doom, then I just enjoyed the concert shiny hunting with friends. And regardless of what was happening on our games, that's what really matters. 124 days until Legends ZA. I'm sitting on the Jirachi couch, the Jirouch right now. Fennekin's level 27, making a wish. But my wish wasn't going to come true that day because I didn't do any training. I was just simply too busy playing Pokemon. And playing Pokemon. And playing Pokemon. And playing Pokemon. The night ended with some really cool interactions with some Japanese TCG players who saw us shiny hunting in the hotel lobby. And it was another reminder that loving Pokemon really transcends all language and cultural barriers. One of them even personally knew Suzuki Kenso, the famous crazy Japanese shiny hunter. It's really cool what can happen if you go to these events and just play Pokemon.
I got a shiny Phantom!
Wait, what? You did?
Oh, let's go!
That's such a good
That's shiny.
Because that's really what it's all supposed to be about. Taking what can be such a solitary activity and turning it into a social event. But let's not forget how much training I have to do now. It's the day of the finals, which is the perfect time to sit down and lock in while watching some top-level gameplay. There were so many amazing stories unfolding, like the TCG Junior Finals being between two siblings, or the Masters video game finals being between two players from Italy who had to play it out early so they could make it back to their flight on time. And Pulse Effects getting a new PB in speedrunning Scarlet and Violet while watching. I had my own story that I wanted to tell, of my Fennekin evolving all the way into Delphox, but I realized in order to make that happen, there was another Pokemon that I needed to evolve first. Zigzagoon, with Pickup. I wanted to get this thing to level 21, where it would be a Linoon, because that's the level where we start having a chance of getting rare candies through Pickup. Once Fennekin reached level 35, I finally let it serve and evolve into Braixen. And then I immediately used one of these rare candies to get it to Delphox. This one rare candy saves so much time grinding between level 35 and 36, because even though X and Y don't have the level-based experience scaling changes from Gen 5, it still takes a while fighting Pokemon at this super low level. And speaking of things taking a while, the finals went a bit over the normal allotted time, but I was happy with that because I never want these fun times to end. Plus, we got some bonus free packs from the staff.
Thank you, kind Fuecoco.
So it will be the
I'm guessing for sticking around long enough, and I got some really cool stuff from it. But then unfortunately NAIC was over, and I had to go back home. 119 days till Legends ZA. About to do a little bit more traveling actually after the traveling I just did. Next thing we're gonna train is Pidgey. Looks like I'm ready to hit the road. It was time for the Safari Week IRL, and somehow magically while I was driving, Pidgey hit level 23. Yeah, I trained that Pidgey completely myself. I didn't have any help while I was driving. There was no one that helped me out with that. It was all me. This also conveniently doubled as the Restaurant Week IRL. You know, that whole Shiny Hunt event that we had just learned about in New Orleans. And I've already talked about this whole week extensively on video, but I didn't talk about the secret side of it, where I was grinding in Pokemon X alongside it almost the entire time.
What a burger.
And I was lucky enough to get the world's first Restaurant Week Shiny.
Wait, Leo, what?
On the Oak Challenge! When you said Lily, I was like, wait, what?
This is not a Safari Week Shiny. What is going on?
It's Lil J!
I'm just training my Pidgey. It is Lil J. What the heck? We don't have to worry about this one running away. This is ridiculous.
That's awesome. I knew you were gonna find one while grinding there.
I stopped to charge up my Safari games and I got that live on the satellite too.
That's so sick.
Oh, we got some mean EXP from this. Check it out. A whole 74 for our level 30 Pidgey. That is so nice. What the heck?
Awesome.
All right, nature guesses from the Safari House.
Sassy.
Nice.
Modest.
Brave.
Hasty.
Game brave.
I'm gonna get mild. Let's see what it is. Lil J is brave. Yo! Successful nature guess. Successful nature guess. We also made a nice little trip out to Enchanted Rock. I saw how the people at the top looked like Durant, and I'm no Heatmore. And obviously my first thought was, this is where I need to evolve my Pidgey, at the summit.
This is Pheasantipity right now.
This is pretty monkey dory. Yeah, it's pretty swellow. It's extremely Pidgeotto up in here.
Nah.
It's actually that one. Well, fracturally. He has a point. He has a point.
Yeah. Ducklet.
Right you are.
Oh, that's a Pokemon. Oh. In concept, this was a really cool idea, but in practice, All you can really see is my forehead from the sun shining on the system, but just believe me when I got a Pidgeotto and a Pidgeot.
Pidgeot, let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go, Pidgeot.
Man, I wish there were cool places to play Pokemon around here. Like,
We could go back to the Airbnb and play.
yeah, that would be a lot cooler, honestly.
I saw a Valero. Do you want to play there?
Oh yeah, like a gas station? Yeah, they have Mountain Dew there. That would be awesome, yeah.
7-Eleven is right down there.
It's too windy to hunt here.
Yeah, exactly. I'm afraid my DS is gonna get blown away by the wind.
No!
No! There she goes. Just demolished a burrito. It's Fletchland time.
Fletchland.
This is gonna take as long as Pidgey.
I forgot to mention that I started with some of the longest grinds of this section. Grinds that are so long that you could probably watch every Brosidon on YouTube before finishing them. Since Delphox, Pidgeot, and Talonflame all require you to get into the 30s level-wise. I kept grinding before saying goodbye to my friends. And on the final night, I was rewarded with seeing an actual Xerneas outside.
There's a freaking deer. There's a freaking deer over there.
On a scale of 1 to stressed out, this is how I'm feeling right now. I didn't realize going into this how long this section would take without the experience share, and I started to feel the headache of it, wondering how long this would take me. One thing that I wish I knew was that all the Pokemon participating in battle get the full amount of experience starting in Gen 6, meaning that you can switch train your entire team out to train multiple Pokemon at once. But I didn't know that, so I didn't do things as efficiently as I could have. The days started to melt away. ZA was getting closer and closer, but I eventually got my Fletchinder and my Talonflame, going back and forth between periods of intense focus and completely doing other things like this. But then we had some pretty serious flash flooding, where I was stuck inside for a few days. And I focused heavily on evolving a bunch of the early game bugs, editing my Safari Week video, and watching a Guitar Hero tournament. These things evolve early at such low levels that it really boosted my Pokédex numbers, and made me feel like a good gamer, just like Beedrill. The rain didn't let up for several days, just like the abnormal weather in Pokemon the Movie 2000. I trained a Bidoof while watching this, imagining how it could fix every scenario in the movie just by stepping in with its legendary power, especially after evolving into Bibarel at level 15. Then, after evolving Bunnelby at level 20 during Kotatsu's stream, the rain stopped, and I only had a few more evolutions to go before Badge 1.
Alright, let's attack this Litleo. Oh. She protect, and she also protect.
Using the meal power of this awesome sandwich, I evolved Burmy. And I liked training Burmy so much that I trained Burmy again. This time to get Mothim, because this was a male Burmy. Then I had another daunting grind ahead of me with Psyduck, which I need to get to level 33 without the use of the unevolved experience bonus. But all it took was an interesting Pokemon Presents where I learned more about the adventure ahead of me in Kalos again. More Switch 2 gameplay. Whoa! That Houndour! Oh, that Hanoum had glowing eyes like an alpha! Let's go! A nice walk in the park. A classic gaming convention.
Oh, yo! Legend ZA! Medical City DS Lite. What game are you playing right now?
I'm playing the downloading data screen.
2 minutes left, yeah! It's at level 25.
Whoa!
And watching Lord of the Rings for the first time for it to reach Golduck. I still need to watch the Two Towers in Return of the King. Golduck. Then I decided to quickly knock out the 2 friendship evolutions of this section, which I had been keeping in my party this entire time. Riolu to Lucario, and Azurill to Marill, which really quickly evolved into Azumarill right after at level 18, leaving me with only Lil J, the Litleo, to evolve into Pyroar. Instead of getting her just to 2 Hearts of Affection, I decided I would take the extra time to go all out and max out her affection. This does not save any time on the Professor Oak challenge whatsoever, and is in fact mostly a time loss. But, as a result of doing this and mastering the tile puzzle,
Friends forever with Lil J. Aww.
we can start petting Lil J after every battle, which is worth millions of hours of time to me. This is such a neat little feature that a lot of people don't really even know about in X and Y. The grind was slow, and there were plenty of distractions like getting this fancy new guitar controller, but eventually on to weekend, I decided to focus and realized that I could get the roller skates before the first gym, 50 hours into the game. After battling all the gym trainers except for Viola, Lil J evolved into Pyroar, is what I would say if I didn't hold my 3DS against the desk like this and accidentally turn it off without saving.
I might have just made a major mistake.
But then I got back to level 35. Level 35! Let's go, Lil J!
Yeah!
Lil J is evolving!
Let's go! Come on, you can do it!
Oh,
come on!
Everyone's cheering for Lil J. This is awesome.
Just a little bit more, come on!
She's a shiny Pyroar now! Whoa!
Yeah!
Lil J! Lil J! Oh, this is hype. With 52 hours and 29 minutes, a plane is landing. We can finally go collect our first badge. Our Pokédex in Kalos is at 46. There's Surskit. This was the longest section of the challenge due to gameplay time, but it's definitely not the section with the most Pokemon. That has to go to the second badge here. So let's check that out. So this section is huge. This is the amount of Kalos we could access before badge 1, and this is how much we can access before badge 2. And let the number of Pokemon that we see here be a good indicator of just how biodiverse this region is, with very few Pokemon evolutionary lines occurring on any route more than once. We have a ton of ground to cover, so let's get started with Route 4. Before we even get there, we meet Alexa, who gives us the experience share. This is the only significant thing she does in the entire game, but it is a game changer for this Oak Challenge, just trust me. This is the first route to have flowers instead of grass, and very fittingly, I found the Flabebe first encounter, which I named after Blue Vactor guessing that this section was going to take me 33 hours, and Legend Link thinking it would take 27. This is totally something I'll remember later. For the rest of this route, I decided I would catch everything at the most exotic location I've ever been on this channel, the drive-thru of In-N-Out Burger.
Hey, doing just fine.
Alrighty, what can I get started for you?
Can I get a number 1, no cheese, with animal-style fries and a large cherry Coke?
Is this at the car?
That's it. Skitty. I feel like Skitty would really enjoy whatever this flashing pyramid thing is. Oh, it looks like Ralt also really likes paying.
Now that I have my burger, it's time for me to remember that I actually have a 3DS capture card and go through a few things just pure gameplay for a little bit, like catching Budew, a female Combi so he can get Vespiquen, Roblanc, like that guy way over there, a second Ralts, making sure it's male so we can get Gallade. This right here is the Morgan Mare, named after Justin Morgan. Justin Morgan. Meeting Dexio and Cena before they got taller in Alola, and entering Lumio City for the first time, while the north part of town is under the extremely convenient blackout that prevents us from going any further, but not any of the other people who actually live there. Here I learned that at the PR studio you can actually add facial hair to your character as makeup temporarily, which I thought was really funny. What the heck? I didn't know this was possible! And then as soon as I selected Bulbasaur from Professor Sycamore, my internet died. This really panders to the Gen 1 nostalgia in me of having dial-up internet that was down half the time. Then a totally normal, nice man who developed the Holocaster technology that spies on us told Diantha that he wants to create a perfect world of eternal youth. And then the barista dissed Solrock. What's up with that? I moved on to Route 5 where I caught a Furfrou, got my first Horde encounter since those are possible now for the Chungoose Jr., found a Skiddo, and a Scraggy.
My parents really like Panda Express. I'm not even eating there today though. I just drove out here to catch this Pancham. Shout out to Mom and Dad, VIPs, very important pandas. Swag.
Then I got to some of my favorite encounters in this game at a sandwich shop. These shaking bushes on Route 6 where you can find Venipede and Audino. I don't know, I just really like the battle background, and I didn't find these at all my first playthrough.
Audino is actually here for the Baked Blaze, and for the fact that it's going to Mega Evolve in ZA but can't Mega Evolve in this game.
Everyone rise for the route theme I consider to be the national anthem of Kalos, and the mandated part of the video where I catch a lot of things going for a walk. I confirmed that this Centret was not Poison Ivy because it did not possess Leaves of 3. I'm not sure as much about Oddish, you can ask Calzone that.
Corn dogs? Corn dogs? But this is a cat. This is a corn cat. Corn dogs? What? Corn cat.
Then I found a Honedge, which, believe it or not, I had no idea. It was based on this real-life thing called a sword. I paid tribute to the plentiful benches of the Kalos region by catching an Inkata on a bench. I caught a Kecleon going over a bridge, just like you do in Hoenn. And I gained enough experience through the experience share for Bulbasaur to evolve into Ivysaur. I didn't even remember to stop this evolution for the unevolved EXP bonus, but with how good the EXP share is, and how we're going to be leveling things up now, we really don't need to.
Calzone here, you gotta catch 2 Oddish, 1 for Vileplume, 1 for Blossom. Honestly, you gotta catch 100 Oddish. 2 birds on a bridge. There's 2 birds on a bridge, but it's 1 bird. They got 2 heads.
Kind of crazy that we probably won't be here at Parfum Palace in ZA. Seems like an important location. Look at those superior gates, they're beautiful. Cool statue. I wonder if we'll see that in the game at least. If Legend ZA really does take place 100% within Lumiose City and we don't get to go to any of the other spots in the Kalos region, Parfum Palace is the first place that I revisited that I'm going to be really sad that I'm not going to be able to see again, with the endless void in the hallway, the courtyard with the Reshiram and Zekrom statue, and the fetch quest for the Pokeflute. Oh yeah, that's why we're here. Now we can wake up the Snorlax on Route 7. Fun fact, this thing is shiny locked, so don't even try. We have to catch a female one for the Oak Challenge, because that's the only way we'll be able to get Munchlax later. After getting the flute, we can now access Route 7, but I made a beeline for Route 8, because it was the day before my birthday, and I wanted to catch one final Pokemon in my 20s before midnight. My favorite Pokemon, Absol. My last game save while I'm in my 20s. They grow up so fast. We're about to be on... My birthday is 69 days till ZA? Nice!
It's my birthday! Look at that! Oh yeah, wait, this is connecting to another player. I can't do this. I have to restart the game.
After nearly sacrificing the integrity of the Oak Challenge by receiving a congratulations from another file, I celebrated my birthday at a balloon museum.
This is like I'm in a Terra raid den right now. Oh, but what is this? Wild Drifloon.
Of course I had to catch the balloon Pokemon at the Balloon Museum on my birthday. The most important part of birthdays are balloons. Duh.
Alright, catching a Whispering Myrrh in this room. This is so sugoi.
I just started clapping. You can do it!
Ganbatte!
I came here to capture some Pokemon with some really cool and interesting backdrops. But maybe I was the one that ended up being captured, stuck in the brand new world of Pokemon 3D Geometry from 2013.
Yes, we have the Shiny Hunter Zoo. As you can see, we have AbsolBlogs on display. Truly a violent creature. He almost bit me.
I got an Inkay.
Oh, Slay.
Ink Slay.
Ink Slay.
Okay, now it's normal. Now it's the correct way. I think the beauty of this place was the combination of really intentional, surreal exhibits with rooms that unintentionally felt like exhibits just because they were unoccupied, creating incredible liminal spaces. The exhibits themselves were amazing though, like this one where you were on a swing controlling this giant butterfly that went to music. Admittedly, I'm not sure where balloons come into play with this one, but it fits the flight theme, as does this Wingull that I caught. I caught a Zangoose in this cool hall of mirrors, and then moved into the next room, which was genuinely terrifying, because it was full of feral children and played music that puts my stream playlist to shame.
Where do we go next?
Every room was a totally new experience, and I'm glad that I got to catch some Pokemon here.
Oh hey guys, we're surrounded by balls right now.
Like this me and Fu. It's nice that all ages and all levels of maturity can appreciate our...
Cycle my what?
Calzots!
I caught Bagon in this one room where there was this big balloon that would get charcoal all over the walls and ceiling if you moved it around. There was also like a balloon wind tunnel, this LCD panel tunnel room too where I caught a spoink, and cotton candy in the gift shop, and of course there's actually a cotton candy Pokemon now in Pokemon X called Swirlix, but I forgot about it, and I caught a Meditite and a Zubat instead like an idiot, when I could have caught Swirlix for this moment right now.
My game just had an idea. It has a little light bulb over its head. Its idea is let's catch this 5% Talo.
It's 5%?
Yeah, and
That's
hordes.
crazy.
Yeah.
After a nice birthday, I had some tricky horde encounters to take care of.
Pretty cool. No way! No way!
Like the Zangoose and Seviper one, where I needed to catch the Seviper, but the Zangoose would always attack it. I finally got lucky enough to catch the Seviper without them knocking it out first.
Alright, so we caught Seviper surrounded by a lot of rocks, so I'm gonna name it a lot of rocks.
And then in Connecting Cave, the Zubat's Roost, you have a 5% chance of getting a horde of Axew. Then I grabbed an old rod and fished somewhere that I never knew that you could. Parfum Palace. You can't even surf on this water, but we can catch Magikarp here. I've got an insane package here from the Pokemon World Championships 2025 addressed to AbsolBlogsPokemon. And look, over here we have a Mandibuzz and Maractus! They sent me a Fennekin, which made me glad that that's what the waiter picked back in New Orleans. We have Absol L. Boom! They sent me so much cool free stuff, and this alone had me excited.
Caracosta! Wow, this is amazing art. I love that.
But I had even more reasons to be excited because I was going to go to the World Championships in Anaheim in just a couple days. Once again, invited as a creator by Pokemon. On Route 9, it's really rocky, so you have to ride around on a Rhyhorn, but you're used to that because apparently it's your family's trait in this game, which is really interesting. Here I caught a Sandile and Helioptile at the airport. One detail I find funny about this when you're riding a Pokemon is that they use a different camera angle to make it look like you're not standing on the ground. And I wouldn't be on the ground much longer as we took off for California, and I caught a Hippopotas, named
Spaghetti Sarah.
Okay. After grabbing the TM for Rock Smash in Ambret Town, it's time to enter Glittering Cave, a place that I consider to be the most experimental cave in Pokemon history. Instead of following the traditional top-down formula of being a place riddled with strength puzzles and maybe darkness, this cave is in itself the puzzle, being a 3D labyrinth with a very unique perspective, with unique encounters too in these shadowy spots that you can save in front of, and encounter a wide variety of Pokemon. To this day, I still don't know my way through this cave. Knowing that Glittering Cave is kind of based off the Paris catacombs, I'm hoping that we maybe see this return in Legend ZA with the actual underground section of the game, because we've never quite gotten a cave like this ever again, even within X and Y. The cave has a second section too, which is a more traditional top-down area where we meet Team Flare for the first time, who we can tell are geniuses. Once we take down Team Flare, we can get a fossil from the scientist here. I chose the Sail fossil because I like Amora a lot, but we also need to break rocks here to hope to get the old Amber for Aerodactyl. And in the process, we can also get a wild Dwebble. There are also these spots where Pokemon swoop down from the ceiling. You can tell that they were experimenting with a lot of different encounter styles here. And when I caught Ferroseed, I saw an experimental airplane pamphlet that presented me with a simple subtraction problem, which was no issue for me because I'm actually a genius. And the airplane manufacturer was so impressed with me that they gave me a free bike, and it was yellow, like Pikachu. That's right, I also know my colors. At this point, we can even access Route 10, where at Kura Sushi after we landed, I caught this Eevee and named it after the delicious gooey butter cake. Gooey butter cake.
Look at that and tell me it does not say gooey butt crack. Look at it. Look at it. It's hard to deny that.
I also caught Emoga, which I refrained from naming after any menu items. Then, after checking out some neat stuff at Book Off, we made it to Anaheim, where we already saw some of AZ's influence.
It's Eternal Flower Floette.
AZ was here.
Oh my
Legend
God.
ZA.
He's probably like that tall.
Yeah, he's at least like 2 palm trees tall, yeah. Look at all these Alolan Executor. I caught a Chubby Dumpling at a place called Chubby Dumpling, and then I cleared out the rest of Route 10 throughout the rest of the night. You'd think with the number of captures that I did here that the resource management would be tough, but I had so many Pokeballs from pickup that I barely needed to worry about that at all. That's a Slinky. The next morning we met up with Legend Link, Micah the Brave, several Bionicles, and Fex Collects, who made these really awesome e-reader cards for us to hand out at the event that actually work. And we got into the car for a little adventure. I needed to start out catching 2 Love Disc, so I could trade one away in an in-game trade, which is allowed in the Oak Challenge, for a Steelix.
It's Thumper.
Thumper, I hardly know her.
Whoa! Let me zoom in on Micah's DS right now to prove that that was not an actual trade. See, there's no trade possible because that's Heart Gold Soul Silver.
Right now, I'm trading.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
I can see it. He's literally in the trade screen right now.
I'm not cheating on the Professor Oak Challenge.
I'm trading.
Guys, look at this billboard coming up on the left. Freakier Friday.
I caught several other Pokemon in the car along the way, including Sweet James the Krogunk, finally catching the cotton candy Pokemon Swirlix, naming it after the awesome song we were listening to, learning the true lyrics to Golden from K-pop Demon Hunters,
like a bumblebee.
Shining like a bumblebee.
Dude, we are hunters. Shiny hunters.
and doing the one required hatch of this section, Pichu.
Side piece purple minion. You gotta have an open mind. That's the reason that you're not married.
Can someone do a good Smeargle impression right now? That was like the in-game cry.
That was accurate.
Yeah, that was Smeargle.
Yeah. Whoa, someone put up CVS Pharmacy graffiti there. That's crazy.
Yeah.
They put like the whole logo on the wall. Like,
This trip was going to be the perfect redemption arc for me, going to Universal Studios Japan in 2023 by myself and not getting into Super Nintendo World through the lottery system. Because we were going, as a group, meeting up with Blue Vactor and Ari Bun to go to Super Nintendo World at Universal Studios Hollywood.
look, there's the entire family. Look, you can see every single Simpson.
Every Simpson ever.
Except Graggle.
Yeah, I was gonna say, where's Graggle?
It was incredibly relieving to learn after my many years of theorizing that Super Mario is in fact real.
5 Nights at Freddy's.
5 Nights at Freddy's. 5 Nights at Freddy's. Alright, POV shot. You are a question mark block. I'm hitting you. But you like see me from up, never mind.
Then Micah and the gang surprised me with the birthday reservation at the Toadstool Cafe, where in line I caught a Hoppip. The design of this place was so cool, and it was nice watching the Toads diligently prepare our food in the back. We were also diligently at work trying to find shiny Pokemon here, and when the food came out, by Mario Odyssey logic, I might have eaten Mario.
We just demolished everything at the Toad's Cafe. We teleported the food away, a lot like Abra that teleports things. Let's see if we can catch him.
Perfect for the warp pipe.
Oh, he would? Okay, hold on. Let's see if we catch him, or if he flees. 1 Ultra Ball. We caught him! Let's go! He didn't flee.
I thought that this was the final capture of the section, so I started level grinding in the Battle Chateau, receiving the noble title of Baron in the Mushroom Kingdom. And then I walked right out of Nintendo World, looked up at the Jurassic World section, and was like, oh yeah, I need to revive my fossils, huh?
Scale fossil. Boom. Amora! With? Oh my god. No way. That's crazy. You're good. Yeah, it's a blue dinosaur, just like whoever's filming this right now. Guys, I just got Aerodactyl.
Oh! What?
Well, it's just normal.
Oh, okay, this stuff.
Well, actually, I haven't checked to see if it's shiny yet, so hold on. It's not shiny.
Full on to regular Aerodactyl! No way!
Dude, this is so sick. I had no idea that they had an ad for the Today Show. That's so cool.
I was genuinely super bummed out about missing out on Nintendo World 2 years ago. So I was so happy that I not only finally got to go there, but I also got to go with my friends. And dude, this might be the fastest kid ever.
I'm fighting this freak of nature Baroness, Francine, who has a Flabébé that has Floette's cry. Listen. That's not Flabébe's cry. That thing is like, what did she do to that thing?
At first, the Battle Chateau feels like a pretty unassuming place to train, with trainers with pretty weak Pokemon. But the more trainers you battle, the higher up your noble rank goes, with no cap to how far you can go before the second badge. Before I even finished the car ride, I became a Viscount, and could fight even stronger Pokemon. Later that night we met up with more gamers who were arriving, And unfortunately, some major drama unfolded.
I'm exposing this man right now. I just wanted him to check some Clefairies about his game corner, and he swiped left in my box. He looked in my box, and I did not tell him to do that.
I was curious.
That is not cool.
So I told him he should probably like start his game.
Yeah, that sounds like a good one. If he handed you with his phone and was like, look at this photo I got, would you start swiping on it?
Start swiping.
He would. He would. I feel like he would. I have good pictures.
I'd never seen drama that intense. I had to go to Taco Bell the next morning to think about things and try something new. Brand new Baja flavor, Baja Midnight. It's probably like about 9:30 right now in the morning, so not enjoying it at the right time, but I got it during Worlds. Let's see how it is. I don't know if it ascends above regular Baja Blast for me, but it's still like good.
That would be.
So it might be an occasional order while it's here, unless it's permanent, in which case I'll get it every now and then.
Midnight.
But really that morning we had a mission.
So many Alolan Executor. The Executor! We saw a lot of these outside!
We had an appointment at the Pokemon Center at Worlds, which had a really cool layout this year. It was huge compared to the one in Honolulu, and I got the Varsity Machamp plush that I was hoping for.
This is gonna be me chain fishing. I'm here in the car.
After looking around at all the amazing music puns and everything, in line for checkout, Abra evolved into Kadabra. And the evolution screen in X and Y takes so long that I was told I was holding up the line, so I had to get moving. I ran into some trainers in the Battle Chateau saying some very topical things about the money I was about to be spending. And I remembered tipping in this game, and how everyone used to think that it would raise your shiny odds or something. I wonder if tipping will return in ZA. Much like how Lumio City has many cafes, we went to a really cool cafe later that afternoon called Requiem. It was such a nice spot to meet up with friends, shiny hunt, and get a lot of level up evolutions in. Yeah, what is this Magikarp gonna evolve into?
Gyrate dose.
Gyrate dose? Oh, y'all gyrating?
Gyrate dose.
I guess I'll try to.
Yeah,
Gyrate dose.
I'll start gyrating too. It is a gyrate dose.
No way.
I knew it.
I have an important demonstration for Ronk specifically here right now.
What's going on?
We got an evolution happening. It's a really important one.
Do I get 3 guesses? Because I'm sure.
Yeah, guess. Make a guess. Make a guess.
Yeah, I think it's Gligar. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking, man.
Yeah, look at its name too.
Oh.
I'm an Earl. I'm an Earl now. I'm the Earl of Battling, and this is my castle. I got some awesome gifts from the Nova League, and we all got to sign Gremlin's Alolan Dex Quest binder. Being here made me realize just how many friends I've made through this, and how many of them were here at Worlds, and how difficult it was going to be to try and hang with all of them. But it was a challenge that I was up for. After a little bit of unwinding time, getting ready for the evening, we went to a birthday dinner for John Stone. What you got there, buddy? Burger.
I like burgers.
Burger boy. Don't call me Burger Boy. Okay, Burger Boy.
It's dog time, everyone.
It's dog time. Check your clocks.
It says dog time right here.
Oh, it does. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Dog time.
Immediately after dog time, it was cat time. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it's evolving.
Oh, that's okay. I'm not
This is insane. I know it takes so long. It finally evolved. It finally evolved. It's cat time. Corn cat. After one more evolution at the table, and then later seeing Alpharad and opening some Crown Zenith, where I got 2 gold cards for my Akira Igawa collection, the next day was the true beginning of Worlds. Outside, I saw the Amora that I had just revived. The hall was amazingly decorated, with many Colossian things, like the Prism Tower that I saw at NAIC, and some Mega Evolutions. I also evolved Yanma into Yanmega, but really you can only hear it. Not a Mega Evolution, not to be confused. Oh man, I love a custom Seagear skin. I got to watch a little of the ZA demo that I'd be playing later that weekend too. Mega Absol in real life. Emma. Oh, the Mega Absol went down. Yeah. He's getting the Absolite. Oh, that's cool. I also had an official meet and greet with my friends Shiny Catherine, Blue Vector, and John Stone. I never thought I'd do anything like this, especially in an official capacity, and it was so cool getting to meet everyone. Throughout the weekend, it was hard to walk 10 steps without getting stopped by someone cool.
It's red! Oh my gosh! Yeah! Woohoo!
And I received so many amazing things. Thank you to everyone who said hi to me. I really appreciate that a lot. There were few times when things were quiet, like when I was standing guard for Scarecrow's sketch trying to record voiceover. And those were the times that I got some grinding in. There was also a really cool cosplay showcase this year, and while I didn't end up dressing up as Arvin, I did end up seeing Looker, who's one of the main reasons why I wanted to do this X playthrough in the first place, but I couldn't play it normally. I had to do this whole Oak Challenge thing first, so we'll talk about his story at the end. And of course, I also wanted to watch some of the world-class matches going on, and I got in a lot of level grinding sitting right by the stage. Anytime you see a Furisode girl in the Battle Chateau, they have Audino, which nets you a ton of experience. You can also even rematch gym leaders here if you've already beaten them. I eventually became the Duke of Puzzles, the Duke of Battles, and the Battle Chateau grind continued wherever the night took us.
I'm in the Battle Chateau in game and the Battle Chateau in real life right now. This is crazy.
There's a whole tournament going on.
Yeah, there's an entire tournament of battlers.
There was an insane level 9 CPU Smash Bros. Tournament, which was the perfect backdrop for getting in some more levels and getting more evolutions in throughout the night. It's a Herculean task just keeping track of how many evolutions happened during this section, but I think I recorded all of them.
Dwell's evolving, y'all.
That's my goal.
There he is.
Lasagna boy.
Bye, Scolipede.
It's going into the PC box forever, so.
Never seen the light of day.
Yeah, he's going forever.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
Today's video is sponsored by Randy.
Or not, you know? You know, it'd be like that sometimes, you know?
I'm gonna be real with you for a minute here. Sometimes I worry if my videos are still relatable, like they used to be. Where it was primarily me sitting at home playing Pokemon, and now I'm traveling all the time, going to these crazy events, doing YouTube full time, living much less of a semblance of a normal life. But I don't want to do this to make people envious, or to brag about what I'm doing. Instead, I want to celebrate how far I've come just doing this. One of the whole reasons why I didn't stream any of this challenge is that I wanted it to be as real as possible. Mostly me just playing the game at the times that felt right. To send a message that you can be here too. You just have to stay dedicated to what you're passionate about. And man, was I passionate about going back to that cafe.
Really long evolution screen.
It takes forever, next to Y, there we go. Have you ever seen the movie Jurassic Park?
No.
I'm in the Nook right now. I'm in Fortress City.
There's something here.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
There's something here.
Oh, it's a Kecleon. Get your Sylph Scope out. Or Devon Scope, sorry.
I got AirPods.
I don't think that's gonna work.
What happened to my chapstick? Why does it look like this?
With this glowing chapstick and Kotatsu and Randy practicing dapping each other up over a dozen times throughout the night, I got one final evolution before it was the final day of Worlds. One of the downsides of having Inkay in my party to evolve alongside everything else is that I have no idea how long to hold the 3DS upside down. I held the 3DS sideways to get Swellow so it could maybe fit through a doorway or something, with that wingspan it's got.
Yes! Inkay is evolving! They're clapping because it's finally evolving.
After several upside down Pokemon, I finally got Malamar.
About to mix records with Tamahiro.
Watching finals in the arena was so cool, and I'm so glad we got there early because they stopped letting people in after a certain point. I made some pretty major training progress out here, which was immediately halted when VGC took my full attention, just because of how crazy the effects were on the stage. If there was grassy terrain, you could see grass. Trick Room, you could see all that. It made me wonder if they had special effects prepared for obscure conditions like Magic Room or Embargo.
Pokemon replied, training arc in session.
The production made it feel like I was watching a Pokemon battle from the anime in real life, and seeing my favorite Paradox Pokemon terrestrialize into the Stellar type and take the win was something I will never forget. Then we gotta look at a new feature in the future of Kalos.
Next, I would like to do 2 videos in a row.
Get ready for intense 4-player mayhem.
Oh, Battle Royale! I'm back! Yes! X and Y. Yeah.
I just know I'm gonna do shiny races and battles with my friends in this mode. We also got a mega tease of Pokemon Champions. Then the massive group of gamers took over this pizza restaurant outside, where for some reason we got compelled to start dancing like Ludicolo. Maybe this was a coping mechanism because Worlds was over and we had to go home.
Ludicolo, Ludicolo, Ludicolo.
I was actually winging it for most of this trip with the Pokemon I was catching and evolving, and on the way back I started to actually check to see if I caught everything, and I had forgotten Binacle. And Plusle and Minun. The plane was even blue and red to remind me of this. The plane ride home was a super productive one, where I achieved the maximum title of Grand Duke in the Battle Chateau. I finished the remainder of the level up evolutions for this section. I pet an Eevee to get Sylveon. Lil J hit level 100, the pinnacle of power for a shiny Pyroar. I prepared lots of stone evolutions by doing super training, and I knocked out every other evolution in this section except for Umbreon, because Umbreon requires for it to be nighttime. So I spent the remainder of the flight climbing through the puzzles of the Solage City Gym, where Grant awaits at the top, wondering if he'll appear in ZA helping us climb buildings, since that's a mechanic that's been shown several times, until my DS battery ran out.
59 days till Legend ZA. Final evolution of this section. I'm home. I just unpacked. This is my ZA bag from the demo. 125 and 68. That's the number we need.
Mostly over the course of my Worlds trip, I finished this section. And what I find most impressive is that between the 27 and 33 hour guesses, somehow the playtime ended up in the middle, with this section taking 30 hours. Now let's see how big Badge 3 is. "56 days till ZA, currently getting an oil change. I've done this for 3 Oak challenges now. They revealed Mega Victory Bell this morning and it looks crazy. We got a lot of Pokemon to catch now in this 3rd segment, so let's get into that. This section has us start by going through Geosenge Town with these crazy rock formations and going up to the beautiful Chaleur City with the Tower of Mastery. 2 more locations that I'm gonna really regret not being able to visit if the entirety of Legend ZA takes place within this circle. It's hard to top the location of Pokemon Worlds, but I think getting an oil change at the dealership really does that. Okay, not really, but I caught most of the Pokemon for this section here. Starting out with Route 11, with lots of different Pokemon to catch along the way here. Shout out to Sock. I found a pamphlet with the guy from the Scarlet Violet credits. A female Hariyama specifically, since there's no wild Makuhita, so she's gotta become a big mom. A Chingling that really matched the balloons on the ceiling, because, you know, it's gotta be someone's birthday, and the most important part of birthdays are balloons. Duh! Then we take our business to Reflection Cave. A really cool cave with lots of mirrors, but I find it interesting how restrictive the caves in Kalos are about you using roller skates or riding your bike in there. It intuitively makes sense to not allow those things in caves in real life, but that's something that was never really the case in Pokemon before. We also need to get a female Wobbuffet, not only because her lipstick is stunning, but because we need to get a Wynot. After a successful oil change, I went over and caught everything on Route 12. And believe it or not, after that, we just have a little bit of level grinding and 1 Pokemon to hatch, and we can get our next badge. Or should I say badge, because Mareep is a sheep. I don't know if that sounded like a sheep at all. I'm gonna shut up. Now it's time to go back to the good old-fashioned Battle Chateau and do some grinding to get these evolutions. We can battle Grant now, too. I also hatched my Makuhita. Because of them not reusing very many evolutionary lines, there are going to be a lot of weird hatching exclusive Pokemon along the way here. This is only the beginning. And over some Raising Canes, I got the rest of the level grinding done in a pretty short period of time. My progress for this was so fast that I had to actually physically wait until nighttime for me to evolve Chingling into Chimiko, which is the hardest evolution of this section since it requires friendship instead of pure leveling up, or even an evolutionary stone, which can be trivially obtained through super training. Now, 125, 107, 232 Pokemon. In only 6 hours, it was gym leader time. Immediately after the gym battle, we have a second Karina battle at the top of the Tower of Mastery, where we learn that she's the Mega Evolution successor. We gain the ability to Mega Evolve, and we go up against her with a different sprite, using Mega Evolution for the first time. But Mega Evolution is strangely underutilized in X and Y in pretty much every way. I feel like it's the game that was supposed to introduce us to it, with a follow-up game like Pokemon Z really exploring it, especially since most of the stones are only available in the post-game. Let's move on to badge 4 and 5. That's right, we're getting 2 badges at once. I know it's hard to beat the oil change adventure from the previous badge, but I think I really did by updating my driver's license. And that's actually kind of fitting for this section, because while we don't unlock too much more land in Kalos, we get licensed and gain the ability to do a lot more around the region, starting with getting the ability to surf. I love how the free gift Lapras has its own unique model when you're surfing on it. We also get our Skiddo license, which isn't really all that helpful, but it's kind of cute. We get our Good Rod fishing license, and in Coumarine City we get our incense buying license. No, I don't think you need a license for that, but we need the full Lax and Rock incense for the challenge. We're also given Fly, but we don't have our pilot's license yet. That's locked behind a gym badge, so we're gonna have to do a ton of backtracking in this section. But for now, let's go to Kalos Route 13. One of the most obnoxious routes in the entire series, if you ask me. This place is huge, and there are random dust clouds with Pokemon that pop up, and they're very hard to avoid. Mix in the fact that there are several arena trap users that make escaping from battle difficult, and the fact that there's sometimes this wind that literally makes some parts of the route inaccessible due to how slowly you move, and it's kind of a slog. But you know what's not frustrating? Going to Buc-ee's. This place is crazy. I feel like it shouldn't exist, but it does. The Walmart of gas stations.
Pokemon spotted at Buc-ee's.
In awe of the Great Beaver, I caught everything on this route while I was at Buc-ee's. With the exception of one Rock Smash encounter, because while I was able to get Graveler there, there's also Slugma, and respawning the rocks would require me leaving the route and coming back, and that takes a while. So I went back and I did that at the dealership instead because I thought it would be funny. Okay, actually I was just taking care of more car stuff, but imagining myself going to the dealership just for the bit is amazing and I need to do that someday. 47 days till ZA. I'm locking in today. I'm doing some curry hunting and I got some fishing to do. Let's get every fishing encounter here and let's evolve stuff. The hardest part of this great fishing backtracking session was fighting the urge to chainfish shiny hunt everything in my path. And I somehow managed to hold it together. Horsies are back for a limited time. Saving my chain fishing for when I was going to get the super rod later. We have to go back to some tiny ponds at the beginning of the game for some of these surfing and fishing encounters, but they're totally worth it, and it's not like I have a choice in the Professor Oak Challenge. Now let's get all these egg exclusives. I always think Snorlax takes the lax incense, but it's actually the full incense. While Geodude isn't entirely egg exclusive, it's the only way to get one at this point of the game, which is insane to me, and makes me wonder how some people who jumped into Pokemon during the time of X and Y for the first time feel about some of these evolutionary lines. After the final hatch, it was time to go back to the good old-fashioned Battle Chateau and continue the constant grind. But I wouldn't be sitting at my desk for long. I would move a few feet over to the couch to watch K-pop Demon Hunters for the first time. And get caught up on Pokemon Horizons, with Kotatsu stopping by. I felt truly golden, shining like a Bunnelby. Bunnelby! Bunnelby! But that wasn't the only thing that shined, or shone, that night.
Dude, shiny Machamp.
What? Are you serious? I got that live. I got that live while my Starmie was evolving.
I'm never getting this dog.
Darumaka!
The only important advice for level grinding for this section is to evolve Mantike before Remoraid, since you need a Remoraid in your party for Mantine. In almost no time, I had reached the maximum number for this section, meaning I had 2 gym battles ahead of me, starting with Old Man Ramos.
List of people in Pokemon who I'm not sure is still alive in ZA.
And while there are no more additional Pokemon to catch before the next badge, it's not an immediate waltz to Lumio City for this. We have to go to Route 13 again, and investigate the mysterious power plants that still kind of remain a mystery to this day. So Team Flare is residing in one of these power plants, the one that uses energy from space. And the other ones are completely unused, with locked doors that we can't enter. I can't help but wonder if these were just meant to be locked doors to throw us off as part of a puzzle, or if these were meant to maybe be explored one day. I always thought the mythical Pokemon Volcanion would make sense at one of these. Or maybe they were part of what a follow-up game to X and Y would one day be. I hope they're at least referenced somewhere in ZA. We also meet the giant immortal old man AZ for the first time, talking about the flower Pokemon. And then we get to go fight Clement in the Prism Tower for our next gym. I'm curious if any of Clement's stuff is still here in ZA, or if we'll see any of his Clemontic gear inventions get used to help traverse the city. Now on to the next section. A strange dog told me to hop in the car, so I listened, and I ended up back home visiting my family. Over pizza, I found Sycamore and Lysander maybe being a bit too buddy-buddy, with Sycamore calling him a great man, and then Lysander going on to say some of the most terrifying stuff I've ever heard someone say. Then I enjoyed a slice with the Carablast, and I got to see Birdie and Beasley, the legendary dogs, but I couldn't catch them because they've already been caught. I started to catch several Pokemon along the swampy Route 14 while watching the Great British Baking Show with my family. Here's me as a bald baby. Then I took some time to appreciate the time capsule that is my childhood bedroom, thinking back to playing through parts of X and Y for the first time here, and the 2011 dog calendar that I marked for when I found a shiny Mienfoo like almost 10 years ago now.
We're investigating a haunting. It's kind of crazy. There it is. There's the apparition. It's Santa Claus. Oh my goodness. What the heck? Santa, can I have a haunter for Christmas? Wow, what's that doll?
The next morning I went for a walk, and I had forgotten how humid Louisiana is compared to Texas. Just look how fogged up my lens is catching this Bellsprout.
Ramona Marsh would love this.
You got a lot to say, don't you? Yeah. What do you think of full odds shiny hunting? Oh, nice.
Just like how it was raining in game and I couldn't use Sweet Scent for horde encounters, it started also raining in real life, but thankfully it let up pretty quickly.
Just doing some fishing out on the lake. Barboach.
Some of the most beautiful moments in nature are some of the most difficult to see on the screen. I caught a Poliwag in Poliwhirl by the lake. And by fishing up Basculin in the pond in Laver City, we finished the captures for this section. It's level grinding time at the good old Battle Chateau once again. At this point I was a level grinding machine that couldn't be stopped, not even by an evil, extremely powerful squirrel that could bury me underground, as if I'm an acorn being stored for later.
Horses are back, man.
I got home and the strange dog finally awakened from its slumber, telling me that I needed to hatch all the egg exclusives for this section. So I obliged. And then we ate some delicious jambalaya. As I continued doing some more training while watching TV. The most difficult grind of this section is for Gumi, because in order to evolve Sliggoo into Goodra, you have to level it up while it's raining, and actually find somewhere where it's raining in game. I got pretty lucky, and before I even tried searching, it was raining in Ambret Town. Also, for the first time I really started to appreciate Sliggoo's silly little face. I might use one in ZA. For Fire, Water, and Leaf Stones, we don't have to super train anymore. We can actually buy them in Lumio City now, too. And with that, we are ready to take on Valerie's gym. The interesting dollhouse. There's even a toilet in this gym. One of the few in the entire Pokemon franchise. With the strange dog and Danny DeVito by my side, I got the 6th badge. Time to move on to the 7th while still here at home. Even though they removed seasons from Pokemon after Generation 5, when I think of the fall season, I think of this part of Kalos, High Key. With the game releasing in October of 2013, I felt so in the Halloween spirit with this route and the ghost types they introduced here. I enjoyed some barbecue with the family, catching yet another Pokemon whose pre-evolution doesn't appear in the wild.
You been farming long? We've been farming too long.
There was a sign at our table that made me think of the irreparable damage that Sky Battles did to Flying type's 3D models. And then later that evening, it was time to start fishing, because we can get the Super Rod now. And I wasn't gonna stop until I got a fish chaining shiny. Just days before learning about my friend Malamar, I put Malamar with suction cups at the front of my party. Side note, I ordered the My Friend Malamar plush and it actually arrived in the box upside down. This box has not been opened. Oh, I love my friend Malamar. I caught all the fishing Pokemon that I needed, and then I got a big chain going. That's crazy. Oh, shiny Corsola. Mom, do you have a name for a blue piece of coral?
So there were clients who could afford to
Aqua Velva?
and they had a clear.
I'm hoping we see Corsola in Legends ZA. I would love to see the return of Galarian Corsola and Cursula because I think their designs are really cool. I also asked my mom to name this Relicanth. She named it Methuselah. Then suddenly, autumn was over with the next area, Dendemil Town, where it was snowing, with the Frost Cavern to the north where it was very cold. I had to go to the freezer and get an ice cream sandwich to get fully immersed. The Icy Rock is here where we can evolve Gooey Buttercake into a Glaceon. After several more icy captures, we were able to meet with the future professor in ZA, Mabel, one of the Team Flare scientists. I'm still curious how she became a Pokemon professor after all of this. I have her gamer chair in real life, by the way. The next day, I drove back to my place, briefly stopping by and pointing out the other place where I originally played X and Y's story. So this strange dog has led me to this gas station where they have gummy Mountain Dew worms. First we have green, pretty dew-like. Voltage, red. Oh, the red is exactly like Code Red. Playing with my worm? When I got home, they were playing my favorite Pokemon movie. So I went to the last area we need to go to, the Lost Hotel, got a really cool skating trick, and caught several other Pokemon, including Trubbish in the trash cans. There's one more Pokemon that we need to get here, but it only appears on Tuesdays. So I started level grinding things instead. My friend Goji's birthday party was the perfect time to get in some level grinding while hanging with everyone. That looks crazy. Sea Creature managed to find a shiny Ghastly, which was crazy. There were cupcakes that were in the shape of a Ditto, or a Ditto that was in the shape of the cupcakes, I'm still not sure. We played copious amounts of Pokemon. And during this section, I learned that Valerie's 3D model never turns, even if you talk to her from the side. And there are a couple other characters that are also this way later. And before the end of the night, I got in some good trades on other games. I know there's no trading allowed in the Professor Oak challenges, but man, trading with people in real life in older games always feels so good. It's Tuesday. Yeah, that means it's trash can time. Looking for some spirits. Any Rotom in here? No, as far as I can tell. Alright, how about this one over here? Do we have any Rotom? There's a spirit right there. Big fan of that one. That's actually extremely rare. I didn't realize I ran into a Rotom fan. That's kind of awesome, actually. Then it's time to hatch more pre-evolutions that people who started with X and Y might not have known existed. And we can evolve Magneton into Magnezone on Route 13. I also forgot to catch a Bergmite. So I finally did that and evolved it into Avalugg. I'm sorry, Bergmite. And now that takes us to September 12th, when there was a Nintendo Direct. I got the final evolution of this section, Chandelure, and I took on the 7th gym leader, Olympia. We've surpassed the 100-hour mark on this save file now, and we only have one badge left, but still quite a bit of gaming to go, especially with the story that's ahead. I really thought I was going to spend more time in this video truly analyzing X and Y's story, but my analysis is that there isn't much of one most of the time. Between two of the most narrative-driven Pokemon generations ever, X and Y sit in a very strange spot where most of the game you're just a kid going on a little adventure, running into your other kid friends and thinking, oh boy, Mega Evolution is such a mystery, isn't it? Only every now and then do you encounter NPCs who even know what Xerneas is, and you continuously run into this Lysander guy, knowing that he's probably up to no good, but having no idea what he's actually working on, until this climax of the game. I don't think this is necessarily a bad thing, because I think it provides excellent contrast, with the sudden urgency to stop Team Flare. Starting at their sketchy cafe in Lumio City, where AZ explains to us the backstory behind the ultimate weapon in the Pokemon War from 3,000 years ago, which is genuinely one of the craziest stories in Pokemon, with war and death and resurrection, and a bloodthirst for revenge that turned this resurrection machine into an ultimate weapon of destruction, leading to a tremendous loss in life, him becoming immortal, his immortal Pokemon abandoning him for the number of lives that he took in the process, and him having to walk the earth endlessly, reflecting on what he had done. It's actually so raw. This isn't a sunshine and rainbows story about the power of a legendary Pokemon or Mega Evolution. This is the story of a man abusing the power of a legendary Pokemon, waging war with it, and how we need to stop it by going to Geosenge Town and defeating Team Flare to prevent this mistake from happening again. What's terrifying is that the legendaries themselves have no agency in this. In other games, the legendaries prove too powerful to cooperate with the evil team's plans, but in this one, they're powerless. We have proof that this plan has already worked before. Lysander actually has total control in this situation, and all the pieces are in place for him to completely destroy the world as he sees fit. The gravity of this situation is absolutely insane for a game where most of the time it feels as carefree and separate from the actual legends of legendary Pokemon as the Kanto and Johto games do. But thankfully this is also Pokemon, so we're able to very easily free the legendary Xerneas and capture it, adding it to our team and thwarting Lysander's plan for the most part. Dude, the battle background on this fight is on another level. It is so pretty. I named it Mega Xerneas because I think it's a shoo-in for getting a Mega in ZA. Please no spoilers, I haven't read any of the leaks. Then we get to battle against him with all sorts of crazy attachments. He uses Mega Evolution. This is one of the only required Mega Evolution battles in the entire game, by the way. And then he fires off the ultimate weapon, but ultimately it backfires, likely resulting in his death, but also kind of leaving his fate ambiguous, perhaps for a follow-up. I wouldn't be shocked if he's still alive somehow, especially with how the ultimate weapon was originally created to bring Floette back to life. We might have an immortal Lysander on our hands in at least one timeline. To celebrate saving the Kalos region, I decided it was time for a trip. And I was taking my buddy Avalugg with me because I couldn't forgive myself for almost forgetting to capture it last section.
Handheld portable electronic devices.
And wherever I was going, I was planning on completing the rest of this entire section. I gave Avalugg and the strange dog the first class flying in coach experience with me, with Avalugg even catching a Pokemon along the way. You heard it here first, Avalugg and Noibat best friends forever. Then the professor gives a half-hearted apology for associating with Lysander and we get to sit on the coolest bench in the whole region. Then I landed and I was excited to experience the real Lumio City, Paris, France. Actually, just kidding, I was in California for the day for a business kind of thing. And I landed super early, so I got to spend most of the day just kind of exploring the Santa Monica Pier, catching this Altaria that I did not feed. Even on a cloudy morning, it was an awesome place to hang and catch Pokemon. We also have some fishing to do in this section, and even though there were many places where I was really not supposed to fish on the pier, they really couldn't stop me from fishing on my 2DS. And I managed to find Dragonair. I also spent a lot of time walking along the beach looking for the 5% Politoed through fishing, which admittedly I spent a lot of time trying to chain fish to see if I could get a beach shiny. I eventually settled for a normal green one whenever these weird ground squirrels started glaring at me. I also saw these world-famous houses that reminded my Kalos brain of the Mysterious Sisters trainer class. It slowly got sunnier outside, and these dino fountains made me wonder if we're going to see Amora and Tyrant in the wild somehow in ZA. And I saw some Pokemon shirts at Uniqlo. I thought I saw a lot of horses at this carousel, but one of them was actually a Zoroark. Then this strange dog and this hot dog, and I continued to wander through this land of excessive warning signs. It was amazing catching so many Pokemon with so many scenic views, but eventually I needed to cool off inside, so I went to an art museum.
Goth women. Shout out to goth women.
And early the next morning, I made one more trip back to the pier before my flight. I didn't see a single person who I already knew on this trip, but someone stopped me while I was walking and fist bumped me saying, "Love the videos." Maybe I'm never truly alone out there. And since we have a Ditto now, I grabbed a Baja Blast and maybe a slice of chess pizza to sit down and hatch all the eggs that we need to do in this section, because this is the hugest one for hatching. But before I can hatch them all, there's one more day of the week specific trash can encounter here, Baynet, which only appears on Thursdays. So I actually had to trick my 3DS into thinking it was Thursday instead of Sunday. This is borderline cheating, and just like AZ, I will have to live the rest of my life knowing that I did this. But I caught the Baynet, and hatched a Shuppet right after. Hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
Starting with the Mossy Rock and leveling up Eevee to get Leafeon, it's evolution time for this section, which is just more of the usual. But then I realized I was still missing one Pokemon. I forgot to get Shuckle, which is a Rock Smash encounter. Very rare, too. I spent almost the entire time watching the movie The Princess Bride looking for this thing, and I finally found one, bringing me to the final dex total that I need for this section, meaning I was able to take on Wulfric, our 8th gym leader, up in the air. After getting back home, Avlog and I both got kind of sick, so it's going to be pure gameplay from here on out. We now have only 9 Pokemon to obtain in this section before we can become the champion, all of them residing within Victory Road. Some of my favorite encounters in this game are the shadow spots outside, where you can get a wild Hydreigon swooping down from the sky. After hatching the most insane late-game Pokemon ever, Spearow, you'd be stupid not to use one of these on your final team. And maybe I'm stupid, we can take on the Elite Four and Champion. 3 out of 4 members of the Elite Four are just totally brand new characters, which is, pretty standard. But we also have Malva, the Fire-type Elite Four trainer, who is a confirmed Team Flare admin, and I just wonder how she didn't get public backlash over that, or if they even know. She was literally the voice of the Holocaster that Lysander owned. How does she still have her job? But anyway, at the end we go up against Diantha, with one of the prettiest backgrounds of any battle. She also uses Mega Evolution, for the 3rd time in the entire game, and it's like the last battle. Actually kind of crazy. I brought along an interesting team of 6 Pokemon that I didn't expect to be the final team that I'd be using in any world. After becoming champion, we see AZ once more, who challenges us to a battle with his ancient Pokemon, and then his Floette returns after 3,000 years. Then we get into the credits with the song Kiseki, which has lyrics. I would love to see this song return with actual voices singing it in ZA. Surefire way to make me super emotional during the credits. But the Oak Challenge isn't quite over yet. We have the post-game now. Immediately upon reloading our save, Shauna will do an in-game trade to give us one of the other starters. Then we can talk to Sycamore to get the pass to go to Kilude City, where I won't even be touching the Friend Safari since that's kinda like connecting to another game. Instead, I have to track down the legendary bird that starts roaming the region, in my case, Zapdos. Armed with repels, I ran in and out of Santaloon City and onto Route 4. The way that this roamer works is kind of dumb. You can't just try and capture it. You have to encounter it 9 times before it finally flees to the Sea Spirit's den. This took about 40 minutes of tracking it down repeatedly.
Got it. Cool. I didn't even save beforehand, because I'm dumb.
Our next Pokemon's another Kanto legendary, one so strong it couldn't find a place in the outside world. I'm very curious how they're going to tie in the lore for Mewtwo into Legend ZA.
Oh, it's Mew!
Since I imagine it has to be appearing at some point since it got 2 different Megas. One final legendary exists at the depths of Terminus Cave, Zygarde, who is hardly mentioned in this game at all. Now we go back to Glittering Cave for a little fossil excavation. There are several fossil Pokemon to obtain and evolve here depending on which version you're playing, and I kind of lost some of the footage of this, so we're just gonna count all of them right now.
Bastiodon, Bazinga.
Now only Weavile and Gliscor remain, because their evolution items can only be obtained from the Battle Mason, where you have to have 48 BP in order to get each of them. This isn't a very difficult thing to do though, because the early levels of the Battle Mason have literal babies that you're fighting against. It's just a little bit time consuming though. After a few hours, I finally got them. And with that, at almost 128 hours, the Professor Oak challenge is complete. But the story of the game is not. Because the main reason I wanted to revisit X is finally able to happen. After defeating Serena and seeing my favorite Mega Pokemon, Mega Absol, I received the Absolite from her. I have it in real life with this Mega Ring that will never fit around my wrist in a million years. Still really cool. And then I can meet Professor Sycamore at the Sundial in Anastar City, and only after doing both of those things, we can go to Lumio City and kick off the Looker mission. While a lot of this is fluff that just makes you explore Lumio City more, this is the most important part of the entire game for leading up into ZA in my opinion. Because in this process we learn so much more about Lumios, like how there's a gang there, and about a character who is going to be important in that game. The homeless orphan girl with a partner Esper named Mimi who's incredibly street smart, Emma, who Looker takes in and lets her stay at his agency. She's respected enough to be considered a boss by these gang members, and thinking she's not doing enough to warrant staying with Looker, she takes on a part-time job in secrecy. Immediately after, we learn from another criminal that there's been vandalism at the museum, and a mysterious shape-shifting trainer in a suit has been stealing Pokemon around the city. Whenever we confront them, Mimi recognizes her as Emma, but Emma doesn't recognize her back, kicking her before disappearing. Are these Emma's true colors, or is she under the control of something else? We learn this is a mind control experiment conducted by Xerosic from Malva herself, who struck a deal with Looker to maybe remain in the public eye. She wants Xerosic to disappear, because she doesn't think the hero of Kalos, actually Lysander, would approve of this. There are people out there who still believe that Lysander was doing something right. And after seeing what Team Rocket did in Johto, and Team Plasma did in Black 2 and White 2, I don't think we've heard the last of Team Flare yet. Whenever we track him down at Team Flare's old hideout in the secret basement, Emma shows up, under the codename Essentia, and we battle her several times, with her clearly writhing in pain. Then, he disengages the mind control lock, and she doesn't remember any of it, thinking that she was just asleep. Looker apprehends Xerosic, and then leaves the Kalos region behind, but not without giving the Looker Bureau agency to Emma, and giving the protagonist the title of Looker, which makes me really curious about if we're going to see Serena or Calum in ZA with the new title Looker now. But the true follow-up detective here is Emma, who knows everything about the city and now knows how to read thanks to Looker. Emma is also set up to receive all of Xerosic's Pokemon and gets to keep the expansion suit. They set up so much for the future with this character. There's nothing else in the story after this, but I'm convinced that this is all just build-up for what was supposed to come next. Even with this end card, that gave me goosebumps because I just knew that they were planning a follow-up to this. The ending of X and Y never resolves, because it was not supposed to be the ending. And finally, after 12 years of waiting, we're about to go there. And this revisit got me so excited for it that I've been in the spoiler bunker for days, trying to avoid anything and everything about ZA. So I leave you with this movie, and soon I will leave you with another, experiencing that game for the first time. The outro to this video will be the intro to that one. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time. For 12 years, I have always wondered about the untold aspects of the story of Kalos. For a game about uncovering the mysteries of Mega Evolution, X and Y don't uncover nearly enough, being left with only a theory of its origin rather than a concrete answer, with Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire only piling on more questions than actual answers. And to this day, Mega Evolution is the only phenomenon that doesn't have a central Pokemon behind it. But I think it might, because in X and Y, there was one Pokemon that remained a total mystery, with no NPCs in the game even acknowledging its existence whatsoever. Zygarde. Zygarde's true forms were revealed in 2015, at a strange time between Pokemon games, and I doubt this was originally revealed for it to make its debut in Alola, which is what ended up happening, and it feels completely out of place. Kalos is where Zygarde always belonged, AZ wasn't supposed to disappear forever after the credits. Lysander fired the ultimate weapon a second time, yet we hardly hear about the actual repercussions of it. What's the point of the Emma story if it's not to set up for something else? It doesn't make sense for X and Y to be the only Kalos games. We were supposed to go back, and maybe after all this time, the unused Eternal Flower Floette being present in the code for so many future Pokemon games and Pokemon Home was not an accident. It was a promise that we would go back again.